People of Reddit, what was the dumbest thing you got punished for in school? Trying to go to the library during lunch. They said I needed a hall pass. Fine, I went and got one. Then they were upset because the hall pass didn't have an N to me in it, but the teacher who gave me the pass was the same class I'd returned to after lunch. It was a split-period class, and when I tried to show them my schedule to prove that, they sent me to the principal's office for insubordination. I just wanted to do some research for a paper. Joke's on 'em, that teacher ended up just giving me several pre-signed passes because, in his words, that is just really dumb. Flipped the monitor screen upside down, Control plus Alt plus arrow key, got banned from using any school computer for the rest of the year. Throwing grass, they told me it could have landed in someone's throat and chopped them to death. 8th grade. Our school had a weird layout where you had to walk through classrooms to get to another classroom. As I was passing through one, I was telling my friend how this new video game is freaking awesome. Teacher pulls me aside and asks what I said. I told her I said it was freaking awesome, and she scolded me for using a substitute for a bad word. What, this bitch ain't even my teacher and she's telling me I can't use a substitute? I asked her, what about darn or heck? Aren't tilde though tilde they technically substitutes? She got all red in the face and huffy and said, go to the principal's right now for talking back. I told her I would be late for class, which is right through that door. She didn't appreciate the added defiance and grabbed my bicep and dragged me into the classroom. She told my teacher what I said and yelled, discipline him however you feel is necessary. My teacher nodded and she huffed out of the room. My teacher bent down and whispered that she gets grouchy in the mornings. Just be careful what I say when I pass her. Anthet was that. Edit, a word. In 7th grade I found a notebook in the hallway and turned it into my teacher. I was suspended for 3 days because there was a drawing of a centaur holding a pitchfork and they deemed that as gang-related. This is in Atlanta, sir, no gangsmatching that description here. I was in hospital for a broken leg and the teacher put me in detention for missing a lesson. When I tried to explain to her that I broke my leg, she said that it doesn't matter and extended my detention for talking back. Edit, wow, I didn't manage for this to explode. My friends and I were having a race to 300 karma. I'm a first-time Redditor and you kind strangers helped me a lot. P.S. My leg healed fine but I still had to attend that detention. Grade 7, one kid made fun of another kid, the wrong kid, and wrong kid pulled him out of his chair and pinned him to the ground and started yelling at him. Then he started bashing his head against the tile floor. There was lots of blood like immediately. I wasn't thinking, I just ran over from my chair and tackled the kid who was doing the smashing off the guy on the floor. As soon as the fight had started, the teacher ran from the room and got the principal, and they both ran back and in the door, just in time to see my tackle. Next thing I know, the principal was pulling me off of the other kid and literally carrying me to his office. I was pretty upset. I never did well with violence, so I just cried in his office. I was confused from the whole thing. But once I calmed down, he asked me what happened, and pretty much the second I opened my mouth he called me a liar and said he saw everything and knew what I did and couldn't believe I of all people would do that. I couldn't get a word in to tell me story. The kid who had his head slammed was taken to the hospital. I was told that and really only that, and how serious what I did was. They called my parents and said I did it and they needed to come at once and get me. I was suspended and likely would be expelled. I couldn't believe it. When my mom got there, she just told me not to say anything. She was crying and said she never thought I'd do such a thing. When I got in the car, I swore up and down I didn't do anything. I think she believed me, but she cried the whole car ride home. I sat and stewed. I don't know how long it took them to actually talk to the kids in the class after that. Certainly it didn't happen in the hour or whatever it was between when the incident happened and I got sent home, but it should have been the first thing. There was a call to my mom apologizing to her, and saying I actually did the right thing. And then at the end of the school year, like a month later, they gave me some community award at the end of year assembly for what I did. But I never forget the initial reaction when they had me scared I'd be kicked out of school for doing what I thought was the right thing. Some guy pushed his friend down the stairs in elementary and said guy landed on me, got detention for missing an important lesson while I was out cold in the infirmary. I got a lollipop as an apology for the detention after it was explained though. A big lollipop. Parent got called in because I farted in class. Being bullied. Schools don't know how to deal with bullies and blame the victim instead. Much easier, they don't argue back. I was known as the kid who got his book taken away so he could converse with the others. One time my best friend at the time and I, both female, exchanged a hug at recess because we were in different classes. One of my teachers sent us to the wall where we had to stand for 30 minutes alone, because she claimed by hugging we were trying to turn on our male friends. We were in grade 6. Getting beat up by 2 other kids in the bathroom. When I was in 5th grade, we were doing our end-of-year testing, so we were supposed to be well-behaved and serious. They gave us a bathroom break, so a large group of boys all went. When I came out of the stall, one kid grabbed me from behind and held my arms behind my back, and another kid kept punching me in the stomach and chest. My teacher came storming in, everyone dispersed, and she grabbed me by the arm and dragged me back to class. I was forced to write the 2 boys, who beat me up, an apology letter. She threatened to have me expelled from the entire school district if I didn't, and never gave me the chance to explain myself. Me being a 5th grader, I thought I had to listen to her, and I was always too afraid to tell my parents out of fear of getting in trouble. The 2 boys never got in trouble, I was the only one who did, and I was never allowed to explain my side of the story. Edit. Wow, thanks for the support and compassion guys. I've told this story a few times on Reddit, and never really received much support from anyone. Thank you guys. Elementary school. Was in the bathroom stall taking a dump during lunch. Someone runs in and starts kicking all the stall doors into where it becomes a pain for kids my age at the time, obviously, to open them. Kerblam, door swings in toward me just a bit and gets stuck. I'm trying my best to get the damn door open to no avail. Don't remember how long I was in theory alone just crying, but one of the lunch aides comes to lock the door to the bathroom for the day, hears me, gets me out of there, then proceeds to yell at me for being in the bathroom at that time. She goes so far as to take me to the office to have me mother called in, which they do instead of letting me explain myself. When she shows up and I explain myself to her, she gets irate and tears everyone in the school office a new one. No matter what I did from then on, I never had my mother called while I was there. Getting stabbed by a pen in 1st grade. I got in trouble for that. Completely unwarranted too, he just stabbed me out of nowhere, raised his hand, and said I punched him. I was bleeding and crying, he was straight-faced. I had never done anything bad in that class, but this kid would capture bugs and burn them to death with a magnifying glass, but I was the bad one. Defending myself in a scrap is a classic. When I was in 6th grade, I had a group of high schoolers beat me up so badly I had to go to the hospital. I was minding my own business, reading my Animorphs book, when these guys stole my book, ripped it up, then picked me up and body slammed me to the ground. They all started kicking and punching me until I was out cold. I woke up on the bus floor with Abu's monitor, the bus driver, and the principal trying to tend to me. Those kids got suspended. They had footage on the bus cameras. I thought it would be the end of that. Instead, 2 of the guys had younger brothers in my grade. Those 2 younger brothers spent their free time harassing me and trying to cause a scene. They beat me up a few times, not as bad as their brothers, and called me a lesbian because I work baggy boys' clothing. I got in trouble because obviously I was doing something to instigate their negative behavior, only I wasn't. I guess the only saving grace was that all my teachers vouched for me being a shy, quiet kid with good grades and good behavior. The middle school principal still wanted me to get detention. At the end of that school year, my parents had had enough and switched me to a different school. So yeah. Too long didn't read, got in trouble because I happened to be a regular target of bullies. Thanks for watching. What would be your response? Leave it in the comments and see what the others say. Please also like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Until next time.